Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to start this meeting as promptly as possible. This is meeting number 15 of the West Lincoln Council. Today is Monday, September 25th, and we are going to start with the Singing O Canada. Tonight, the recording is provided by Cairn Christian School. So please stand. Thank you. So just a few comments before beginning the meeting tonight. Comments from the public for a matter that is on the agenda may be provided in person by attending the meeting and advising the chair during the request to address an item on the agenda section of the agenda. For those individuals that are unable to attend the meeting in person, you may, of course, ahead of time, submit comments for matters that are on the agenda by either emailing jdyson@westlincoln.ca before 4:30 on the day of the meeting. Comments submitted will be considered as part of the public information and read into the public record. Or alternatively, you could contact the Clerk's Department to request a Zoom link to attend the meeting virtually. And tonight's council meeting will be live streamed as well as recorded and available on the township's website by visiting events.westlincoln/meetings. And that's a bit of a change from the past. So we're going to begin with the land acknowledgement statement. The township of West Lincoln, being part of Niagara Region, is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hattaway-Darrang, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nations. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The Township of West Lincoln, as part of the Regional Municipality of Niagara, stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. And additionally, tonight, we have another announcement that will come forward as part of looking towards Saturday. So this Saturday, September 30th, is National Day for Truth and Reconciliation and Orange Shirt Day in Canada. These important commemorations recognize the tragic legacy of residential schools, the missing children, the families left behind, and the survivors of these institutions. Advancing reconciliation and renewing the relationship with Indigenous peoples is based on recognition of rights, respect, cooperation, and partnership. And the Township of West Lincoln is committed to reconciliation and ensuring that the tragic history and ongoing legacy of residential schools is never forgotten. We will be raising the Every Child Matters flag at the West Lincoln Community Center this coming Friday, September 29th at 1 p.m. And we encourage anyone who may be available at that time to join us. We also encourage the public to join us in acknowledging the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation and Orange Shirt Day by wearing orange this Saturday and taking time to reflect, listen, and learn about the rich and diverse cultures, voices, experiences, and histories of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. And there always are resources online, so I'm going to provide that as well. Resources to help start or advance the learning journey are available on the township website, www.westlincoln.ca/Indigenous engagement, with a hyphen between Indigenous and engagement. So thank you for that. So now, Councillor Chichok, you have our regular opening petition, please.
I do. Thank you, Madam Mayor. We gathered together here today, intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with respect for all. May our personal faiths give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us.
Thank you, Councillor. So I'm going to ask, are there any changes in items on the agenda? No changes in order? Okay, so under disclosure of pecuniary interest and or conflict of interest, we do have an item, 5.1, from our September 11th, 2023 meeting, Planning, Building, Environmental Committee. Under appointments, it was item P59-23, the waiving of development fees for Legion Villa. And Councillor Bell declared a conflict of interest / pecuniary interest with respect to item P59-23, the waiving of development fees for Legion Villa, as he sits on the Legion Villa board. So those minutes will come up tonight, and we point that out. So are there any requests? I'm going to first of all go to our IT help desk to see if you're aware of any members from the public wanting to take part tonight, Kevin?
Not seeing any, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And Director of Legislative Services, have you received any emails or correspondence from a member of the public wishing to take part tonight?
I have not, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So there are no appointments and there are no presentations, and so it takes us right away to confirmation of minutes. 9.1 was a special council, joint special meeting of the councils of the Township of West Lincoln, the Town of Lincoln, and the Town of Grimsby. And this item is regarding the minutes of the August 9th, 2023. And Councillor Bradrick, you have that resolution?
Yes, Madam, I do. Moved by myself that the minutes of the August 9th, 2023 special council meeting, joint special council meeting of the councils of Township of West Lincoln, Town of Lincoln, and Town of Grimsby be accepted.
Thank you. And someone to second that who was there, please. Councillor Chichok, thank you. Okay. Any question, discussion? Seeing nothing, we're ready for our clerk. My screen went blank when you did whatever you did, but it's up now. That was strange. We'll do that when we get there. Everybody working? It's all good? Good, okay. And item number 9.2, Councillor Chichok, this is regarding our all-committee meeting minutes, and you have that resolution, please.
Thank you. Moved by myself that the minutes of the open session portion of the August 14th, 2023 regular council meeting of all committees, of all committee meeting be accepted.
Okay, and someone to second those minutes, please. Councillor Riley, thank you. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes? Okay, seeing none, then Madam Clerk. Good. And that vote carries. And our third set of minutes that need to be confirmed are the public meeting under the Planning Act from September 11th, 2023. And Councillor Bell, you have that resolution, please.
Moved by myself, Councillor Terry Bell, that the minutes of the public meeting held September the 11th, 2023, under Section 34 of the Planning Act with respect to zoning bylaw amendment, Henry and Lisa Van Ryan, 8248 Concession Road 3, file number 1601-006-23, be accepted.
Thank you. And someone to second that, please. Councillor Rayner, thank you. And again, Madam Clerk, unless there are questions or comments about that. It was a public meeting, I don't think. Good. We're good? Oh, Councillor Chichok.
Oh, geez. So sorry.
You're making notes.
I was.
All right, we're all good now, thank you. Good, okay. So item 10 is communications, and so it sounds like it's very simple. We're going to, after we read the resolution, though, I'm actually going to go to our clerk because this involves a neighboring community, and since it came through the clerk's office, we're going to have our clerk explain a little bit about what that is. So it came originally from Heather Vitucci, Business and Support Services from the City of Hamilton. Read the City of Hamilton notification letter to launch 311 telecom service. And so, Councillor Trombetta, you have the resolution, and we'll look for a seconder when you're finished reading it. And we do have our famous ... dots in so that we can then decide, after listening to the clerk, what we're going to do with this.
Okay, moved by myself that the correspondence received from Heather Vitucci, Business and Support Services of the City of Hamilton regarding the City of Hamilton's notification letter to launch 311 telecom service dated September 14, 2023 be received, and I'm not seeing anything at this time, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. So someone to second that resolution so that our clerk, Councillor Bell, thank you. Okay, so we are going to go our Director of Legislative Services to provide some further information regarding this issue, so it's all yours.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the correspondence in front of you is from the City of Hamilton. They are moving towards the implementation to use the 311 number. So they require their neighboring municipalities to offer their support in order to move forward under the, I will tell you the commission, under the Canadian Radio, Television, and Telecommunications Commission. So they need our support in order to move forward with it. I have reached out to our IT manager, and she said that she has no concerns with the request moving forward.
Thank you. Councillor Trombetta.
So when you say 311 number, what does it really entail?
All questions.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Trombetta. So instead of using their regular 905, whatever their
289?
whatever their long digit number is, they just call 311 and it would go directly to their customer support service.
So they're adding one more to 905 and 289 in Hamilton, which I'm imagining so.
Nope, they just dial 311 and
Okay.
it goes directly to their customer service line.
Okay.
Okay. Any further questions? I will defer to the clerk, obviously, on answering them. So, Councillor Riley, did you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, so I guess through you, Madam Mayor, to our clerk, I don't see it here, but is there any cost impact to our municipality? Like what is, for us to support this seems pretty straightforward, but I'd just like to know, is this just to show solidarity, or is there some more involvement on the municipality that they require in supporting, like does supporting it inquire something else that we're not seeing at this time?
Thank you for the question. Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Riley. There's no financial impacts to the municipality. It is to ensure that our residents know that there's no interruption with respect to us dialing a number and going right directly to the City of Hamilton. So if we were, my understanding is if we were to implement something similar and it goes to the City of Hamilton, there's an understanding there that they also have that same implementation.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I have no problem supporting this, Madam Mayor.
Any further questions? Councillor Chichok, did you have something?
Just for clarification, there are constituents here, if they dial 311, will be connected, and they may be confused. They will get information pertaining to Hamilton rather than West Lincoln. That's the biggest concern.
And that's likely why they want surrounding municipalities to know what's going on. I'm sure they're also going the other direction, too. Madam CEO, did you want to weigh in on this?
Yes, thank you. Just to clarify, these are, the 311 would be a direction to City of Hamilton's customer service. And so questions about social services, police, non-emergency police matters, and those sorts of things are the types of calls. So it's a lot of the major centers or bigger cities have gone towards that.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments? All right, so, Councillor Bradley.
Through you, Mayor, to the clerk, I'm not sure if you can answer this or not, but if I dialed 311 from my cell phone and I'm in West Lincoln, do you know what would happen?
Depends on where you are.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Bradrick. I'm sorry, I do not have an answer to that.
Let's find out.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's implemented yet.
It's not hooked up yet, I don't think.
So it says the call cannot be completed as dial currently.
So I guess my question really is about us continuing to monitor that so that if there is any way that we can connect as a resident of West Lincoln and hook into the city of Hamilton, that we're at least letting residents know that that's not our information. So we'll continue to watch that. Thank you.
Okay. So back to you, Councillor Trombetta. Shall we add a word to your received and? Since they're asking for our support, are you prepared to add supported? And you're good with that? Okay, so let's vote on that with as are supported. Okay. Everybody's in? You got everybody and we're good? Great, okay. So I will say that item 8 was normally have been our remarks from our regional councillor, but Councillor Witteveen sent his regrets this evening. He's out of town for work, actually, and wasn't able to be here tonight. So he sends his regrets, and I'm sure we'll get more of a report when he comes the next time. That does take us, though, to the mayor's remarks, which are longer than I expected this week. But, you know, when I look back, our last meeting was on August the 14th. So a fair bit happened at the end of the summer and already since we're close to the end of September. So I'm going to start and read what I have. It's hard to believe that since our last all-committee council meeting on August 14th, not only has a great deal happened in our municipality, but summer of 23 is actually over. I'll start by thanking our recreation staff for the great job that they have done in organizing and operating several weeks of summer day camp opportunities that entertained a great many children. Additionally, they organized 6 Music in the Park and 4 Movie in the Park events that were enjoyed by many families and individuals. I would also like to acknowledge the partnership between the recreation staff and the Kiwanis Club to provide snacks and drinks at these special events. Partnerships of these types continue to work well for each group or organization. On the morning of August 24th, our CAO, Bev Hendry, Councillor Riley, and I was going to say with crutches, and I were able to attend a funding announcement at Niagara Palace made by the Provincial Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry, Graydon Smith, in recognition of Niagara Palace sustainable growth plans for the future. On August 30th, I was pleased to attend regional headquarters for a FedDev funding announcement by Philomena Tassi, the federal MP responsible for the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario. This was a grant to the region of Niagara to enable them to pursue work related to the EV sector. I was also in attendance at regional headquarters flag raising for Big Brothers Big Sisters as they celebrated becoming one organization aimed at supporting the youth of Niagara with dedicated mentoring, guidance, and personal relationship building. As September rolled out, I've represented West Lincoln and in some situations brought, as requested, words of official greetings from the municipality to the NPEI AGM, the Grape Growers of Ontario Luncheon, the starting ceremony of the Terry Fox Run, a celebration tea for longtime Ladies Guild members of St. Luke's Church, the tour of Niagara Palace and follow-up meeting of the Grand Erie Business Centre Board held in West Lincoln, the official opening of the combined Township Smithville Christian High School and Kiwanis Pickleball, Tennis, and Beach Volleyball Courts project. I also made a presentation to the West Lincoln Historical Society regarding the aspiring UNESCO Niagara Geopark project. I'll mention how pleased I am that CAO Hendry and Councillor Chichok, also represented West Lincoln at some of these named events, and Councillor Rayner was as our representative part of the MPI AGM. I volunteered, as I have done for some time now, to run the spelling bee on the Friday night of the West Niagara Fair and also sold tickets along with other Kiwanis members to help 4-H with raising funds for their roof project. Additionally, on Saturday, I took part along with Lincoln Mayor Sandra Easton, Grimsby Mayor Jeff Jordan, Regional Councillor Albert Witteveen, MPP Sam Osterhoff, and Fair Vice President Ron Murray in a pie eating contest where the person feeding us the pie was themselves wearing a blindfold. Messy for sure, but fun for a good cause. Thanks to Councillor Riley for emceeing that event. And egging people on, I must say. Councillor Chichok and her family members are extremely involved in all aspects of the fair, and I can attest to the fact that the councillor spent most of her weekend at the fair doing one job or another. John and I also volunteered, as we have for many years, at the Silverdale Chili and Corn Roast fundraising dinner. There's a very hard-working group of volunteers at all the Silverdale events, and it's our pleasure to regularly help them with their efforts to keep that hall in good repair. I want to take this opportunity to inform council and the public that Councillors Riley, Chichok, and I, along with Administrative Assistant Jackie Thrower, have continued to have meetings throughout the summer regarding our Community Recognition Awards. The nomination period, which opened on Canada Day, closed on September the 8th. Redacted nominations, labeled only A, B, C, etc., were sent to each of the 5 judges who are also unknown to each other. They were asked to judge the nominations based on weighted criteria that we had compiled and sent to them. As of Friday, I now have all of the score sheets back from each independent judge, and at the October Administration Finance Fire Committee, I'm pleased to say the winners will be announced. And I have no idea who they are, by the way. I know the letter number of the ones who came first, second, third, but we've not matched those yet. And actually today, Jackie and I decided we'd wait till closer to that meeting before we really check it out further. So it's entirely in secret. Okay, so I'm pleased to say that all nominees and their family members will be invited to a celebration event to be held at the Library Program Room at the West Lincoln Community Center on October 26 at 7 p.m. We are very pleased with the number of nominations for this first-time event and hope to see it grow over time. This past Saturday, I had the pleasure of attending the West Lincoln Fire Department Open House, which, although held at Station 1, had equipment and firefighters from both stations. It was an extremely well-organized event with lots to see and do for all. I would like to thank all members of both stations for the work that they put into organizing and running this event for the public. On a personal note, I want to say how proud I am of the many volunteers currently on the department who were once my JKSK kindergarten students. All grown up, responsible citizens, and community-minded volunteers. For a former teacher to be able to see those outcomes, it doesn't get much better. And finally, this morning, I had the pleasure of raising the United Way flag, marking our community's appreciation for the great work that this organization does to support Niagara residents. And I added a piece as well, just as a reminder, as this upcoming Saturday, September 30th, is the 10th anniversary of Orange Shirt Day, which has in the past couple of years also been officially the Day of Truth and Reconciliation. I want to point out that at 1 p.m. on Friday, September 29th, we will be raising a community flag to commemorate this occasion. I hope that some members of council, staff, and the public might be available to put on their own orange shirts and come out to help raise this Every Child Matters flag. Our annual Harvest Roots also takes place this upcoming Friday and Saturday with things to do for all ages, taking place in our community centers and library branches. It was a busy month, and I'm certain that I missed some things in my report, but I want to say how wonderful it is to see so many opportunities for gathering, celebrating, and socializing with each other that are being provided by various groups, churches, and organizations in our community. Thank you to all who are involved in trying to engage our community by providing these opportunities. And that's the end of my report, and every month I think it'll be shorter, and it doesn't seem to be that way, but it's been a busy time in West Lincoln. All right, so moving on then to reports of committee, under number 12. 12.1 is Planning, Building, Environmental Committee minutes of September 11. And my part, oops, I just lost it.
Myself.
Yeah, it was cut off, so I'm moving on. So I know, Councillor Riley, that you have that, please.
I do, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself that the minutes of the open session portion of the September 11, 2023 Planning, Building, Environmental Committee meeting be accepted, and that the recommendations contained therein be approved with the exception of item numbers, and there's currently none, and that the confidential minutes relating to the closed session portion of the September 11, 2023 Planning, Building, Environmental Committee meeting be accepted, and that the minutes remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with Section 239 of the Municipal Act.
Okay, thank you. So someone to second those minutes, please. Councillor Chichok, I think you just lost your microphone. Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments about those minutes? Okay, so Madam Clerk. Okay, and that motion carries. That takes us to 12.2, which is the Public Works and Recreation Committee minutes. Councillor Rayner, you have those minutes, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself that the minutes of September the 18th, 2023 Public Works and Recreation Committee meeting be accepted, and that the recommendations contained therein be approved with the exceptions of items number, and there are none at this time.
Okay, thank you. Someone to second those minutes, please. Counselor Bradrick, thank you. Any questions or comments on those minutes? Okay, seeing none. Madam Clerk. And that also carries, which takes us to the Administration, Finance, Fire Committee minutes. And Counselor Trombetta, you have that, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself that the minutes of the open session portion of September 18th, 2023 Administration, Fire, and Finance Committee meeting be accepted, and that the recommendations contained therein be approved with the exception of, and I'm not seeing any, and that the confidential minutes relating to the closed session portion of the September 18th, 2023 Administration, Fire, Finance Committee meeting be accepted, and that the minutes remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with Section 239 of the Municipal Act.
Thank you. And someone to second those, please. Counselor Bell, thank you. Any questions or comments about the open portion of that? Seeing none. Madam Clerk? It's a good thing you're right ready. And that also carries. So there is nothing to be reconsidered tonight, nor anything to rescind, and that takes us then to other business. And the first item is our tabled item, which will remain tabled. I'm not sure how long we'll carry that one, but it is still there. And that takes us then to Director of Planning and Building, Brian Treble. Recommendation report PD 47-2023, 167 St. Catherine Street. Draft plan of condominium extension approval, 1 year, file number 2100-086-17. And Councillor Riley, this was referred from September 11th. You
Yes.
have that resolution, please.
I do. I guess moved by myself that report PD 47-2023 regarding recommendation report 167 St. Catherine Street, draft plan of condominium extension approval, file number 2100-08617, dated September 11th, 2023, be received. And that the draft plan approval for 167 St. Catherine Street be extended for a period of 1 year to expire on May 25th, 2024, subject to the conditions found on at attachment 2 to this report. And 3, that a notice of extension be circulated to relevant agencies and departments.
Okay, thank you. And someone to second that, please. Councillor Bradrick, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Director of Planning, Building, Mr. Treble.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Following Planning Committee, when this matter was referred back to staff, I reached out to Mr. Zaropoulos, the applicant, to have a discussion with him as was directed at Planning Committee. And he was very frank and honest with me, which is good, and I have a good relationship with him. And he, I think in all sincerity, is keen on building in this township, but indicated to me that the economics of the matter just don't work for him right now. In fact, his message basically was, unless I can guarantee him a 4% interest rate, he would lose money by trying to build today at prime +2. So he as much as said that although the site plan agreement is ready to go, he will not be giving us $1 million today. He is not quite ready yet. Whether circumstances change in a year, 6 months, next week, who knows? But for the time being, the economics don't work for him. So what he's pleading for, of course, is a full 2 years extension, and I indicated that I did not think that would happen. But I'm tempted to suggest that Council should still consider the approval of the report as presented, even after my discussions with him. That would give him till next May to either ante up and attempt to achieve everything, including draft plan approval, but it doesn't force him to build. It does force him, though, to give us security. At that point, though, if he doesn't meet conditions, let it lapse. Then it's on him, not us. And if we turn it down tonight, it's on us, which certainly might not be the right message that we should give the province these days. So my thoughts are to recommend approval, grant the extension to May, and if he doesn't achieve it by then, kind of make it clear this is the one and only, and go that way. So that's my advice, Madam Mayor, for what it's worth.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Councillor Riley?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess through you to the director. Just to get some clarity again, so this particular site has had extensions before, but this individual owner has not. Is that correct?
There was one extension that was granted basically at the time he was purchasing. So this is technically his first application,
So
yes.
his first application. So I guess my question to you, Madam Mayor, is the province is going to look at this as not at the property as a whole, but as the individual applicant putting it forward. So you're saying this falls on us if we were to deny this tonight when this property's already had extensions in the past. So I'm just trying to understand where the province's concern would be if this property, like they want some development, but clearly this, this site in particular right now, if they're already asking for 2 years, we're just kind of, we know what the outcome's going to be in 6 to 8 months here. So we're back to square one in 6 to 8 months. So I'm just trying to understand why that would make a difference now versus then.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I guess in my mind it's because it's a two-step process that we're kind of dealing with here. He could start construction by simply submitting the site plan and starting the process of building rental units. Draft plan of condo is the piece that he has to achieve in order to actually sell the units as condo properties as opposed to a rental unit. Since the province is wanting more housing, whether it's rental or condo, in fact, they probably would prefer rental over condo. So this gives them a window to try and achieve the construction of rental units through the plan of subdivision. If he meets his half of the battle, then by May, maybe it's a different discussion. If we've got the shells of 20 units sitting over there, that might be a different request for extension at that point too. So I think it gives him a chance to show some good faith and investment in the town if we give him the extension and it doesn't have the province saying we've refused housing units. So that's my thoughts.
So, again, Madam Mayor, so I guess the problem I have is the municipality's already done its part. We have this where it is at, and we have a developer for whatever means of their own are unable, unwilling to make that commitment. So to me, the onus falls on them it's their business. I mean, he's worried about interest rates, I get it. Everyone's worried about interest rates, but at the end of the day, it's his business. When he profits more, he's not giving the township or, residents more. I think this is, in my personal opinion, obviously a stall tactic. If he's already, hinting that he would like 2 years, this just buys time, I think is, I don't know. I'm very unsure if this is actually going to achieve anything. If he's just exhausting the system, I don't know. And I guess none of us would know that for sure. I'm really uncomfortable with the fact that we're doing our part, and all he has to do is sign the contract or sign the agreement and give the deposit, and he could build. We're not preventing him from that in any capacity. So again, through you, Madam Mayor, I'm just really struggling with the idea that we're kind of giving. We're playing by the rules, but they're not. And I feel like that's really unfair to the community as well as unfair to the organization. So I'm going to have trouble supporting this tonight. On that principle alone, I think it's unfair to the community to have people like this. And we have a lot of great developers and a lot of great builders in our community, and I don't understand this is circumstance to his economic component to it. But he's in business. He's not making any money if he's not investing into it. And if he's not going to put his money where his mouth is, then I don't see that changing in a difference of 6 months. That's just my personal opinion based on what we've seen before. So I just want to be upfront and honest with that.
Councillor Chichok?
I think I made some comments at the meeting about this, and it troubles me that we are sitting here with a man who is actively pursuing development in another area and is now finding it a bit of a stretch to have put up funding to put in services and prepare preparatory works to lands that are in another municipality. And as a result of that, he finds himself in a difficult position to come here and put up the monies that are required to get the servicing and pre-servicing in place, if I am not correct through you, Madam Mayor, to the director.
Through you, Madam Mayor, there is a development that he's working on in the City of London right now, I understand, and I think his concern as well is the fact that he kind of needs to focus on one or the other. It'd be hard for him to do both at the same time. But that said, he was sincere in his advice that he was intending to proceed once the economics of the situation worked. So
No,
that's all I know.
Thank you. And that's the issue that I really think that we need to pay attention to. And I hearken to the words of my colleague about being unsure. This man is afraid to go into the market with so many pressures put onto new home buyers. And so he's not moving forward. And what he has put in his letter that we received earlier strongly explains why developers are not building. I'm afraid of the market, the housing market. People are not telling us what they want. What can they afford? Interest prices are just going up. No matter what seems to be happening, the price of houses isn't coming down, which I think if we had a one-to-one with our premier, we could probably give him a few explanations as to why nothing has affected the price. In fact, they're going up. So this gentleman's request to us would be a wonderful thing to send to AMO, to send to anybody who's got the ear of the premier and his cabinet, at this time, because it's not suggesting that we have done anything wrong. It's suggesting that he is anxious about putting money out there that may in fact be wiped out unless he gets the surety from a municipality who cannot loan money to a developer. And we ourselves are having trouble staying below our threshold of debt required to do our work, and having reduced development charges come to us. And still, the people behind the development are now saying, I can't afford to do it either. So those kinds of things need to be brought out. And if there's some way that we can take this letter that we received from this developer and provide it to a few of the organizations that support municipalities to be used in what it is that they're taking to the province, I would be greatly supportive, because this is just exactly why houses are not getting built. And you know, the province waving a banner that says that there's $1 billion out there, come on and make 80% of your target numbers that you promised us. Well, we can't do that because the developers that own the lands will not take the chance to put their toe in the water and build the houses that they could build today. So I'm frustrated, but I understand the developers or the builders' plight, and yet that falls right on our shoulders as we're being chastised by the province as to what it is that we're holding up on all of these development opportunities. So I really don't think we should let this go without doing something to say, hey guys, here's some real facts that you guys need to be listening to from small municipalities. So if there was a chance that whatever we do, we submit a letter to AMO to take to the province, if not anyone else, and send it to all municipalities around saying, this is the kind of stuff we're getting.
This is what we're hearing. Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you. Anything further from anyone else? So I have a question to you, Director. So if I think back to our famous part over that now has so many houses and a condominium in the back, and I think about how many years we waited and waited and waited with extension after extension after extension because the timing was not right to get, all of that development that Mars has now done, and I forget, Rosemont, right?
Rosemont, yeah.
So is this any different? I mean, it's much smaller, but is that, times where there was a bad time in there too, where the property changed hands many times. I know this property sort of sat in somebody's hands and somebody inherited it and then it changed. So this person who now is the owner, is there anything unusual when we have offered extensions to others other than the timing of this and the fact that we really want development to happen?
Not really with this guy, I don't think. He bought like in 2020 or somewhere around there, and that was when the last extension was granted.
So
the land
just
was.
excuse me, sir,
Yeah,
so he
sorry.
came in as that extension was given, but he did
Yes.
not apply for it.
I believe Metropolitan
Okay.
had to
Okay.
apply for it.
Thank you.
The previous
Okay.
owner, yeah. But this goes back, like, it's been on the books for a long time. I had discussions with Keys Van Leeuwen back 2009 or 8 or 9. He passed, or just around the time he passed away, I think. And so it's been, it's been talked about for a long time. Is it the same as Old Town? I hope not.
I hope not too, but I'm just thinking, historically, there have been things that have gotten in the way of some really good plans that people have had
Well,
that have meant that
yeah.
they were not able to build when they thought that they would be able to.
And Xeropolis was talking to me about the fact that he could, shift his floor size a little bit to shrink the units. That would bring costs down and those kind of things. So it's like he's thinking through the options, but I don't think he's landed on anything that works financially for him, is the flavor I took away.
Okay.
So
So a little bit further, if I may. If we don't give him an extension, it sits there, and he needs to start all over again when he's ready to start all over again.
Well, he would, through you, Madam Mayor, he would still have site plan approval, so he
Okay.
could still build rental units, but that's not the market. Any developer will
They don't
tell
want
you that they
no.
want to build.
I've been hearing
So,
that loudly and clearly
yeah.
from whoever.
So I would highly doubt that he would start building until he had a new draft plan of draft plan of condominium application approved by this council, which would almost have to be a rubber stamp. There's really nothing that's changed that says he wouldn't get it the second time. You'd just be putting him and staff through a process.
So, further to what Councillor Riley was suggesting, the municipality has nothing to lose nor to gain. If we were to give him an extension, it's not going to change anything. He asked for 2. You're suggesting only till May to buy him some time to see what the market is like then. Is that still your recommendation as being the best move for the municipality?
Yes, it is, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Bill.
To you, Madam Mayor, to the Director. I don't know if this is a number you have available there, but I know we had information that was provided to us a while ago regarding, it was in the 800s, of how many units are already pre-approved, ready to go, some dating as far as back as 2009. Do you have that either through you, Madam Mayor, to the Director or the CAO? Because I believe the information was provided to us
Yeah,
by the
321,
CAO.
I think was the number.
With 321 or 821?
Oh, 821, but it was the large, his 20 were factored in, they were included in the
Correct,
number.
okay.
But the bigger numbers were the 2 school sites, and
Yes.
of course, the Northwest Quadrant.
Because I think it's important to highlight, like, right now, granted, nothing changes, we're talking about 20 units versus 800 units are all nearly ready to go if they kind of can get things motoring the way they need to get motoring. I don't necessarily see this as being a shot against anybody other than maybe even sending a message. To me, I'm not against sending a message to developers in any capacity that if you want to build. I get it. You have a business. You're running it your way, how you choose to run it. But I don't think it's fair to kind of try to play the best of all worlds that kind of favor you. So again, I still stand with my concerns on this. I don't think there should be separate rules. As far as I'm concerned, when I look at this, you sign, you give the deposit, good to go. Ball's in their court as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not nearly as concerned as turning this down tonight and seeing where they go from there. So that's just my personal opinion and my vote. Obviously, council has to make up their own mind.
Councillor Bell.
Yeah, I have to agree with Councillor Riley. I mean, right now, the way it stands, they're playing both sides of the fence, and they're looking for the better deal. They really don't have anything into this at the present time. They're more prepared to sit back and wait and see. I don't see why they don't come forward, put some skin in the game, and acknowledge that they're prepared to move forward. And then let's get this thing going. But the way it is now, they want this council and the township to support everything they want. But I'd like to see them get more involved in what they're doing. And that more involvement would be by putting some deposit money down and let's get it going. And it's not saying they have to build the next day. It's just that it's ready to go. And they showed commitment to us. And I think it makes it a lot easier to support them going forward.
Councillor Bradrick?
I guess just some comments through you, Madam Mayor, and perhaps to the director. I'm not sure really who to. But what I'm hearing from my colleagues and what I've done my own research, it seems as though there's not a lot to gain and not a lot to lose. And I think that and I'm no economic professor, but the economy is greatly different than what we have seen, in my lifetime with labor shortages, high interest rates, the fact that, there's so many economic pressures. And it just, to me, when I look at it, it just makes a lot of sense. If I was a developer, a smaller developer, this is not a Fortune 500 company that, has a lot of resources to, play with, that, some of our other smaller developers may be very much in the same position. And I just wonder, what is there really to gain by us putting that pressure when it may be just putting more work on the staff to rubber stamp the situation further down the road, if that's what the intention ends up happening. So I think for myself, as I'm still continuing to listen, but I'm thinking of agreeing with the report and giving the developer some time to evaluate the economy and to see if the spring makes more sense or ask for a further extension. So I guess no questions, just comments.
That's fine. Comments, good. Anyone else? So again, just one last question, Director, and that would be, when we're talking about him needing to make a deposit of some sort, the dollar figure on that would be approximately? I know he said about, I can give you that if you can guarantee me, but what in actual fact would the expectation be?
The site plan agreement in the form that it's in, which is pretty much a final document, calculates the security based on the amount of primary work that has to be done and secondary work, and it's 50% of primary, I think, and 100% of secondary dollars that we collect. It's about $1 million that he has to put down as a deposit, and that's
So he
for
wasn't joking
roadworks.
about his $1 million.
That's right.
And
That's for
that was
roadworks
factual?
and that, not building of the houses. That's just for the on-site construction work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything further from anyone? Okay, I guess we're ready to vote. So the recommendation, just to remind you, is to support. It actually says be received, and then the next portion is subject to the conditions, that it be extended, and that the notice of extension be circulated. So just to highlight that where this report is going, so when it comes up on your screen, you can vote. Okay, and that carries. So now, based on the discussion that we had, Director, I'm quite in agreement, I have to say, with Councillor Chichok's suggestion that we forward the concerns of the developer that we've heard to AMO. So do you need specific direction to do that, or can you just take that as part of the minutes and follow up on that?
My gut says the minutes would be adequate. I might want to reach out to the author, though, to make sure that he's okay with that. It is a public document because
it
it's
is now that
been
it's come to
provided.
us. Okay, so I wanted your opinion and then to the clerk. So do we need a resolution to ask staff to proceed with that?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Even though it was circulated to members of council privately, it wasn't posted or placed on the agenda. So I wouldn't say that it's a public document at this time. So my suggestion would be to reach out to the applicant to ensure that it would be okay to forward that. If not, then we could forward general discussions regarding AMO, but not the document. So it all depends on that individual.
So should we then direct staff to investigate that? Or is the discussion that we're having now sufficient? It's direction, but it's not. It's not putting extra work, hopefully. It's just a matter of making sure that we do something with it.
Just a thought, Madam Mayor, it might be beneficial to have a resolution of council that says something more explicit than just
Okay.
staff communicating. For what it's worth, it doesn't hurt.
Okay, I'm fine. I just want to do it
Yeah.
appropriately so that it has some weight when it moves on.
My
So,
only concern is I haven't spoken to Mr. Zeropoulos about that.
No, but it could be subject
so,
to that,
yeah.
right? We could do that subject to approval from the, and if not, I agree with our clerk in that it could be general terms and concerns that we're hearing. Councillor Chichot, did you want to say something further?
Yes, I totally agree with that last statement you made, Madam Mayor, and that is that a letter, even actually from the mayor of the township, that said, these concerns, these are the types of concerns that we're hearing. They're coming to us, and it's by a very slim majority of council that we're allowing these developers the opportunity to continue to move forward because we are in a conundrum. But that these kinds of issues facing developers, not the big guys, not the ones that are now facing other issues with Greenbelt issues, but down in our neck of the woods, and I'm sure that there would be many a municipality in smaller parts of Ontario that would be getting the same kind of thing. They don't have the money to, pardon me, upfront the kind of cost it takes to go and conclude their applications, and we're being held back because we have to. That's the development of our lands, and nobody's going to buy them out now. So, putting a very short letter together that said, these are the kinds of concerns. They're coming to a slim majority, but we have no choice but to let these guys come on with hope that they will be able to achieve a complete application, a complete movement towards construction and development.
I think that we can appropriately do that. We still should probably have a resolution, but our new Minister of Municipal Affairs is interested in feedback from municipalities. And in fact, we've been asked to do some work on that needs to be submitted. So we can do that as part of that submission.
Madam Mayor, and I'd
Rayner?
also like to copy all of the municipalities at AMO. It's simply just, AMO
Yeah.
sends it out as an e-thing.
Okay, so let's,
Sorry.
which way? You're pointing.
I'm sorry.
Are you wanting to speak,
My
Madam CAO?
my apologies, yes.
Okay, please
The
do.
clerk and I have been doing secret eyes to try to communicate something, but I think if we had done an amendment to talk about that resolution to AMO, that would have been part of the other item that has already been carried. So you could do a new item under new business.
Okay.
To
So
address
we're
this.
trying to do it appropriately.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. So, and we are actually moving to shortly.
Yes,
So we will save it for then. Thank you for that. And Councillor Rayner, we'll come back to you to speak to that. Remember what you were going to say when it comes up, okay? We're going to just go to, so what the clerk and the CAO have said is that I should have waited instead of just asking, we've had a few items that verbally, because we've discussed it, staff could continue on with. This apparently, because we now want to send it to AMO and beyond, is not one of those. So we're going to bring it back under new items of business, and we'll discuss it then and add all the details that we want. And in the meantime, I'm just going to go back to 15.3, which is member of council, council remarks. So do you have anything for council remarks that you want to deal with right now that has nothing to do with this item that we just talked about?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to let everybody know that after months of working on concession 3, because we were supposed to get that road fixed up, they took forever to do the necessary pre-work in order to get to the final finished work. Last week, they tarred and chipped concession 3. So it is finally done, but I don't know, they were months on that road, replacing culverts, doing ditches. I've never seen so much time being spent on one section before. I even was worried we were going to run out of good weather before they finally did the tar and chipping. But the weather's been great in the last week. The road's been done. It looks like $1 million, and it's nice to see that road resurfaced again. It should have many, many years of good service.
Okay, good news. Thank you. Councillor Chichak, we may as well keep going around. Do you have anything?
I think so. I actually think that road was worth more than $1 million, so it could look for like more than $1 million. But anyway, that being said, it's good that that's been done. Madam Mayor, I think you covered all the events that were going on in the township extremely well. And the only thing that I would like to point out just a little more significantly is the fact that it is back about a year ago now that we faced, well, in very short order, we faced the public, and they asked that we bring a council together that would work together and move the township forward. I think, and create a unification and a unified front. I think the comments that you made today showed a number of opportunities where our community is starting to work together, and it's great to see. Whether it was the fair and the partnership with Kiwanis and the 4-H, raising almost $900 for Raise the Roof for the show ring for the kids, or whether it was the chili and corn roast at Silverdale Hall that you mentioned that provided funding for the Silverdale Hall that rarely asks council for the kind of monies for repairs. They do it, they fund it, and then they give it to us to get it done. And whether or not it was the Christian school, again with the Kiwanis, who supported their adventure into the pickleball courts that are now open. That was the official opening that happened on the 20th, and now they're working towards a couple of other attractions that will keep the community. So it'll be the Christian school, the public, and community groups like the Kiwanis, hopefully, that will continue to support the opportunities for the public to use facilities that are being put into play. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say, and I'm only hoping that on October 19th and this week, people think about businesses that serve us here in this community and put their voices forward with recommending some additional businesses for the Chamber's Business Awards, which are going to take place on October the 19th. But it's an annual event, and I know you're very invested in this. I know you sponsor one of the classes, in fact, but it's an opportunity for us to appreciate and show our support to businesses that are working hard in our community. So this is the last week, but nominations are still open for businesses in many categories. It's all available under the Chamber of Commerce's website on their website, and on October the 19th, the recipients of the awards will be, will be announced, and there is an event also available on the website for information. So I just think it's great to see our community working together, partnering, and celebrating one another. That's it.
Me too. Thank you. Councillor Riley, anything tonight? No? Councillor Trombetta, nothing? Councillor Broderick, anything tonight?
Just one quick reminder to the public. I know that in the community, over the last few weeks, there has been a lot of, or a bit of a surge in some car break-ins. So just wanted to, draw a little bit of attention to the Niagara Police Lock It or Lose It campaign that is an ongoing. Never leave your vehicle running and unattended. Always lock your vehicle. Park in well-lit areas, and never leave valuables or purchases in plain view. Even though we live in a large portion of our community lives in a rural area, we're not, without those kinds of situations happening in our driveways. I myself have had my car stolen. I've had a car break-in in the past. So it's just a good reminder, even setting an alarm on your phone every night to remind you if you've locked your car or not.
Good point, thank you. In town's the same, so it doesn't really matter anymore. And the people who are perpetrating are coming from all over and looking for small communities too, so that's really good advice, thank you. Councillor Bell, anything this evening? Okay, thank you. All right, so that is the end of 15.3, so we can go to new items of business. This is for items that require immediate attention, and I think this does. Direction from council must first be approved by a motion to introduce a new item of business. So, Councillor Rayner, are you willing to introduce that item of business? And Councillor Chichok, since it was your idea, will you second that, please?
Yes.
All right, so can we just do a hand vote to see if we can take a new item of business?
It's rare.
Knowing what it is, the topic is there, Madam Clerk? Tell us how.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to members of council, I do need a direct motion in order to go into it, so I just do need a clear motion from the mover as to what
Okay,
we're going
so
into.
Councillor Rayner. So our new item of business, we need a motion. So you want to move that a letter be sent? Councillor Chichok has it ready for you. Maybe we'll reverse it then. Councillor Chichok can be the mover and Councillor Rayner can be the seconder, since Councillor Chichok brought this up in the first place.
Well, thank you,
Well,
Madam Mayor, and I don't care, and I'm sure the clerk will clean this up very much, because I just scribbled down that a letter be drafted for signature by the mayor and sent to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and AMO and their members expressing concerns brought to our attention regarding, pardon me, issues and constraints holding back development in our community.
Thank you.
That was a quickie.
That was well done. But that is the gist of the whole discussion that we had previously, and I appreciate you putting that succinctly into a motion form. And Councillor Rayner, are you okay with seconding that
He wrote it.
motion? Yeah, just 1 second. We'll let the clerk have a second here to get this ready. She's, yeah, this is the vote to be able to get, to be able to discuss it. So we first
we need a vote to even.
have a new item of business, yeah. Well, that was what I had first asked Councillor Riley to do, was to have a new item. But our clerk said we needed a specific motion, or we needed to know what specifically the new item of business was. So the first one was to have, that's right. And that was actually the direction we were going, except for their clerk wanted more information at the time. So go ahead, Madam Clerk. So we need to go, we have to accept that we can have a new item of business, right? To start with.
My motion was that a new item of business be introduced, being that a letter. So it was kind of 2 in 1 right there.
Is that
saying-
sufficient?
I believe that's sufficient.
Okay.
Because it's saying that a new item be introduced, and then if anything amends from that, we can go from there.
Then you can have another resolution going
Yes,
forward. So
yeah.
the first one that the clerk has written just says, actually says what the new item of business is, but it doesn't go into the specifics that Councillor Chichok's provided. So
It's just saying.
a new item of business, period, and what it's about. So we need to vote on whether we even introduce this new item of business. So Councillor Riley's correct, it's just we have more detail in it. It's a good thing this isn't a 3-hour-long meeting. It's quite short. No, it won't be that long, guaranteed.
With respect to development, if I say constraints and issues regarding development,
Yeah, I can say that. So you want as a vague statement to get us, so that we can go into a new item, and then we can tweak the resolution if need be? Okay, so the first one is really just to get us into accepting that we're going to discuss some new business, so. But you do need some information about what that new item of business is about, so. We're just waiting for our clerk to be able to separate those and ask us to vote, which.
So the motion that will be brought on the table is that a new item of business be introduced regarding issues and constraints brought forward to Township Council with respect to development within the community.
So that's our vague title that that allows us to decide, yes, we can accept this or not.
If we can further, Madam Mayor, put that it will be forwarded or directed.
Wait a minute, no, that will be the resolution inside. So we need, you need to have a motion to go, to accept a new item of business. So Councilor Riley was right about that, but the clerk was also correct in that you have to know what that item is about before you accept it. So we're just sort of playing this balancing act of doing things appropriately. Okay, so we're voting to accept or not accept discussing a new item of business.
I'll be waiting, I'll be voting, East Fragment for,
Oh, wait, okay, so, all right, so
in favor.
you're in favor? So you're good now?
Yes.
Okay. So that carries. And now, Counselor, I think we don't have tons of further discussion about it, but please give us your new resolution to put on the floor, and then we'll get a seconder, and then we can discuss and tweak it if need be. I am, please.
Okay. Let's try and get back into this. Okay, that a letter be drafted for signature by the mayor and sent to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and AMO and their member municipalities expressing the concerns brought to our attention that are holding back development applications and the building of houses, of new homes. And Madam Mayor, if I could, that would mean that we wouldn't have to attach the exact letter from.
We don't have to attach the letter
That would
at
just
all.
be that the concerns in it would come out, and you would put it in a letter saying these kinds of things, and they're happening by narrow margins, and we could put it together in our terms.
Exactly, so we could use the information provided without needing to go back to Mr. Siropoulos to get his okay, so that works too. And as soon as we have that up and seconded, then Councillor Rayner will go back to you. I've asked you to hold your thought for a period of time, hopefully. Yeah, exactly. It was a bit ago, but no. And this is why we generally don't try to put our clerk on the spot to come up with a resolution. Are you good? Please. Well, yeah. Do you want to, can you put it up easily? Okay, so, it will be coming up on your screen, and you can read what it says, and we'll see if we can get a seconder, and we can always amend if necessary, but. We have a mover, and we have a,
I know Rayner was for the first one.
No.
Counselor Rayner was for the
Counselor Chichok.
was for this one, but, and
Okay.
Counselor Rayner was for the original one.
Right.
Did we get a second one for this?
Well, I think they were looking to see if they felt like seconding. Okay, because we're not ready for a vote or anything. We're just really looking to get what the resolution is going to be so that we can get someone to second it. But no, I have, okay, just read it then, that's fine. Okay, so this is a resolution. We don't have a seconder as such yet. Councilor Rayner and Chichok were involved in getting us to this point. Councilor Chichok has a resolution. We'll be looking for a seconder. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
That a letter be drafted for signature by the mayor and be forwarded to the Minister of Municipal Affairs, Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO, and neighboring municipalities outlining issues and constraints brought to the Township Council's attention with respect to holding back development applications of new homes within the community.
Okay, so we need somebody to second it so that we can then go from there. So Councilor Bell, thank you. All right, so now, questions or comments? Councilor Rayner.
I would just like to, that the developer, through Brian, lets him know that we weren't really too happy with this, and it squeaked through. I was glad it voted that way. That's why I voted, because I had a feeling it was going to go that way. But it sends a clear message, because if it would have been 7-0, he would have said, I got a year, and I'll probably get another one after that, and, they don't mind, they don't care. Well, guess what? You barely got it this time, so think this one through. You've got 12 months.
Thank you.
They actually only got till May.
They only got till May. Okay, so they got till May, so they got 5, no, they got,
Okay, thank you. So, and as a result, I think that, so this resolution obviously could have just been an amendment done earlier had we realized that we could have added to that. I mean, we've caused a bit more work here for our clerk and for ourselves. But the important thing coming out of this, I think, is the fact that we use that opportunity and what happened as a way of presenting to the new Minister of Municipal Affairs what small municipalities like West Lincoln are dealing with when it comes time to getting things built. Because I don't think for a second that the others who can build 200 or 300 homes as opposed to 20 aren't sitting in the same boat waiting to see what's going to happen with the market and so on. So anyway, Madam CAO.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. I think that that Councillor Chichok had said was AMO and its member municipalities, and not the neighboring
And not,
municipalities.
I
Just
had
to be
picked
clear,
up on
okay.
that too. Thank you.
Okay.
So we'll just clarify that, which isn't even an amendment. I don't think it doesn't matter. Okay, any further comments or questions about that? Councillor Riley?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess just to chime in a couple of comments here, I certainly have no problem supporting this. We send lots of letters forward to kind of help shape our realities at the provincial level and hope that they're heard. But in recent actions of how our premier seems to run his governance, I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of skeptical and lacking confidence in his ability to lead this province, and I'm very doubtful we'll actually see any change. I hope I'm wrong, and please prove me wrong. But I think the premier is just interested in all the wrong things, and I don't think he accurately represents all of us smaller municipalities, so I'm very doubtful how successful this will be, but I will support this because I have hope and I have faith, and I hope that perseveres, but just to be clear, I have no confidence in the Premier of Ontario.
Thank you. Councillor Rayner?
I just want to thank Councilor Riley for his comments, and as they would say in the movie Ghost, ditto.
Thank you. Okay, when you're ready, Madam Clerk, I think we'll put the vote up. Okay. And that resolution carries too, which takes us to bylaws. And Councillor Bradrick, you have the bylaws this evening.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Moved by myself that One, that leave be granted to introduce bylaw numbers 2023-65, 2023-66, 2023-67, 2023-68, 2023-69, 2023-70, and 2023-71. At the same shall be considered to have been read a first, second, and third time with one reading and are hereby adopted. And two, that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to sign and affix a corporate seal thereto, any rule of this council to the contrary notwithstanding.
Thank you. And someone to second those, please. Councillor Trombetta, is that what that means? Thank you. Okay, so Madam Clerk, when you're ready. Please vote on the bylaws. And that fully carries. Thank you. And there are no confidential matters this evening, and so at the hour of 7:48, I will declare this meeting adjourned.